Hello, everyone, and thank you for chilling with Millen. Today, we are going to close out the Power Platform series with my good friend, Matt, who happens to be on my team. Matt, thank you for chilling with me today.
Thanks, Millen. Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Can you give us a fun and unique fact about yourself before we get into it?
Yeah, so as a father of three, one of the things that everyone has fears and so forth. One of mine is I am terrified of heights, and the kind of the weird thing about it though is I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie, and so one of the things I enjoy doing is skydiving.
Oh, wow. That is really interesting. So you're facing your fears when you do that.
I am, yeah. It's I have not taken the leap to go non-tandem. So
Yeah.
I still need that safety net of having someone there. But it is something that kind of pushing yourself to those boundaries is something I enjoy, kind of
I love it.
pushing against that fear.
Very cool. Yeah, it's on my bucket list. I definitely want to try it out one day. So, well, awesome, Matt. Will you go ahead and share your screen and show us how to use Teams to achieve more?
Sure, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm going to be showing today is Power BI. And so Power BI is a business analytics tool that allows you to kind of, through a single pane of glass, kind of view the business intelligence and reporting information in live interactive reports that really connect you back to the data and help give you the insights you need to run your organization. So to get to Power BI, one of the easiest ways to do it is if you're in office.com, you'll have a list of all of the applications that your organization has made available to you.
Yep.
And if you go to Power BI, it'll open up a new tab and bring you to the home screen. And within that home screen, it's going to surface some of the common reports that you access. But in the demo today, I'm going to show you just a kind of a couple things. One, how do you get started? How can you pull up some sample reports, dig into the data, kind of familiarize yourself with what's out there and the power of Power BI?
Mm-hmm.
And then how can you take that information and surface it within teams to collaborate and share with others some of the insights that you're seeing?
Yeah,
So
I love this. I just, just for our viewers, a few things. One, Matt is a guru on this. I know he won't take credit and say he is, but the entire team goes to Matt anytime they need a Power BI report. So he's really good at it. But, folks might be familiar with Power BI-like tools, especially given the pandemic, Matt, because I know a lot of people are tracking COVID and they want to know, hey, on this map, if I click my state or if I click my county, how many cases are there? What's the trend look like? And this is very similar. It's that visual dynamic data reporting. So I just wanted to set that up for folks.
No, I think that's great to provide that extra context. And that, saying that I'm a guru, I think is kind. I think that's the beauty of Power BI, right? I mean, I enjoy numbers and digging into the details, and I think that's where the information lies. I didn't know how to use Power BI. So before I came to Microsoft, I was at another organization and we used, a different BI service. But that's, I had the same challenges over there where you have a bunch of, disparate pieces of information, you want to pull it together and you want to, glean insights so you can make the appropriate decisions and take the right action. And I leveraged a bunch of the things that I'll probably talk about later with regards to how do you get started, how do you learn more, to dig into Power BI. And that's what I've done is I've taken information within Microsoft, created dashboards that are being leveraged by our entire team to help us run our rhythm of the business. So that said, on this home screen, I've jumped over to these sample reports. I'm just going to open one up, and here in a minute, I'll load a new one to show you what that process looks like.
Awesome.
But if I open this opportunity analysis sample, it's going to go ahead and generate a dashboard for us. And it's going to give us some insight into what is that sales opportunity broken out, across different regions. We've got, it broken out into East, Central, and West. You can see the different stage of pipeline. So where is that sales within the sales kind of funnel? Is it a lead? Qualify, solution, proposal, finalize. So you can see the opportunity count broken out. And it's got that kind of traditional funnel feel where everything starts as you have a bunch of stuff that are leads, and they kind of, it funnels down into the final result sale.
That's cool.
I can also, if I was, say, a member of, the central region, I could click on, the central region, look at the states that are there. Maybe I want to drill in. If I right click on central region and hit drill down, it's going to break that information out by state. So now I can come in here and see what are the states that are comprised of that central region, and maybe I want to look at Texas. So I click on Texas and it zooms me into that state on the map. I can look at my pipeline as it relates to the overall pipeline, and how many are in there from a lead perspective. I've got 91 total leads, and then 12 here are highlighted as part of Texas. And then again, revenue across the top. And I could continue to drill down in. You can see what those 25 opportunities look like, from a revenue perspective. If I wanted to get more detail, I could. Maybe up here I have, products. Maybe I want to look at the Maximus product only. So I select that product code, and again, it filters that data down to make sure I'm looking at just what's relevant to me.
See, this is fantastic. I mean, even in this quick opportunity here, you could see how this would be so useful. I know that executives love Power BI, right? Because there's so much data out there, right, Matt? I mean, there's all these spreadsheets, there's all these databases, and executives don't have time to comb through all that. Right. And so just being able to aggregate that data in a visual way like this, so helpful, right? Even for individual contributors, right, Matt? I mean, we use this all the time to see, wow, why was there such a spike in August? Like what was going on there? And we can click on that, we can learn. And the opposite, why was January so bad? And we can start to learn from that. But just having this visual and being able to drill down helps you make those intelligent decisions, like you said earlier. So this is really good.
No, and I think that's a great point. When you start talking about drilling down into the data and understanding, what's going on, oftentimes, whether you're an executive or an individual contributor, you want to ask those questions maybe to a broader community or collaborate on what you're seeing as a group. And I think that's a great segue into how do I bring this information into teams, into that kind of window of where you're spending your time collaborating and working with others. So one option is within the Power BI report, you can just chat in Teams. You can hit the button. I could share this to a channel, and it would drop a link to this Power BI report so others could then, take a look at it.
I love
that's one option. And if I were to jump over to my Teams tab here, you can see if I were to post that, I posted it into the Sales East channel, and here I am as Megan, referencing that report. Another option is I could add this as a tab in Teams. And so instead of navigating outside of Teams to go open it up and view that report, if I were to click on the Add Tab button and hit Power BI, it would then pull up a list of all of the Power BI reports. I'm going to select that opportunity sample and hit Save here. And it's going to take that Power BI report that we were just in, and it's going to pin it to the top rail of that channel, where you can then quickly access that same information. You still have all the interactive elements to it. You can still drill down into the data to get those insights. But you have the ability to chat and collaborate with others. So if I wanted to call out Alex,
and this, while you're doing this, folks, this is so important what Matt is doing, because by adding it as a tab, well, number one, you don't have to have a separate window for Power BI. You could just have it all within Teams, but also that ability to chat here, that saves you a lot of emails, right? I don't want to get emails about this. I'd rather just do it all within the channel.
100%. And what I did is I clicked this little conversation tab button and it popped it out. So I'm still looking at my reports, and I'm able to have a conversation, a threaded conversation with my peers. And where that's going to show up is back here in that posts tab. So if other folks are here in the sales channel, they're going to get this notification just like it was a new conversation with a link to the Power BI dashboard, and it's going to have, the question that I posed to Alex, right underneath of it. And they could reply from here. They could open up that report. It's going to take me right back to that tab. They could continue that conversation within Teams around the data that's relevant to them. And I think that's what's the most powerful about this reporting within Power BI, within Teams.
100% agree. 100% agree, Matt. And the one other benefit that I'm starting to learn more and more now is when you collaborate on these Power BIs as a team and you put it in their face, kind of in a tab like this, you actually get great ideas, right? You're going to have team members like Alex in this case. He might look at this data and he might say, this is all so good, Matt, but man, it would be really good if there was this one other field in here, because that would really help me make those decisions. And I think Matt's laughing because we actually just went through this as a team where we're like, Matt, we would love if you added this, lens. And Matt, being the guru, I said, I'm gonna call you the guru now. That might be your new nickname. But you were able to spin up that new Power BI just from our feedback, right? So that's another benefit.
No, that was why I was chuckling, is because that's what I spent yesterday working on. Is we've been going through kind of our rhythm of the business, and we have a new manager, and they wanted some historical insights into trends and what things look like. And so while we were we had our initial view, there were some relevant questions that were being asked around what did the trends look like, how were we progressing month over month, and so forth. And so I built some new views for the team. But it's being able to surface that information within the context of where you're collaborating with your peers. There's a lot of power to that. And I will add one other piece. So this is at the Teams channel level where you would post or pin that Power BI dashboard. You can also, as I showed earlier, I was at the home screen of Power BI. You can get that same view within Teams. So if I come over here to the left-hand rail and I search for Power BI, I can select Power BI. I can add that to my left-hand rail. One of the things I'm going to do once it loads here is I'm going to right-click on this and hit pin. So that way it becomes a part of my left-hand rail. This is something that I'm going to be visiting on a regular basis. And so now it has brought that same view right here, where I would then be able to then navigate and view all these other things. And one of the things I mentioned at the beginning was I was going to show you what it would look like if you wanted to add a different data set to play around with. And so if I hit try sample here.
And while you're doing that too, Matt, just for folks, I mean, that pinning, I don't want to breeze past that. It is really a valuable part of Teams. Now you can access Power BI regardless of what team or channel you're in, right? It's more universal when you do it that way.
And that's as simple as it was, right? I literally hit try sample. It prepares the dashboard for you. You open it up and you're playing. You can come in, click around. This is a human resources sample. One of the things I'll call out on this that I didn't touch on the other dashboard are these different pages. So these are kind of different views of that information. That could be completely different dashboards, but it's continuing to pull in information from that data set and serve it up in a way that provides relevant information to that end user. And so again, interactive. Maybe I only wanted to look at bad mail hires. An example.
Where's Millen on that list? No, this is good. I'm glad you did it because there are so many use cases for Power BI. It is not just for sales. You could use it in HR. You could use it in pretty much any function you're in. So I like your challenge just to play around and get your hands dirty with it, which is probably a good way to close, Matt. For folks watching and they're looking at this and they're like, man, this is great. How can they start their journey with Power BI and learn more?
Great question. So, I'm in that home screen of Power BI. So I've got this pinned to my left-hand rail. I hit the home button. It's brought me back to the top here. You can get to that location from here, or you can get to it again from this section here. You've got those same navigational options. So one is where I would take you is to the Learn section of Power BI. Again, you can access it here or through Teams under Learn at the very top.
Okay.
And when you get there, there's a bunch of information that is really relevant. So you can dig into courses. So if I were to hit this Start Learning, opens up a new tab. There's a bunch of different learning paths you can go and take. Some additional information. There's documentation. There's a community that you can join. One of the things I would highly recommend is joining or attending a Dashboard in a Day. So our Dashboard in a Day series is a great opportunity to kind of go from beginning to end to kind of create a report. They give you all of the data sets. They walk you through step by step on how do you create and serve up that Power BI, so you can be the me and on your team to help provide those valuable insights to your leadership as well as your peers to help make those actionable decisions. So that is where I would go. That's where I start. We have some great YouTube content out there as well. But the community is huge. That's, anytime I get stuck, I find myself browsing the community and searching for, common or similar questions to what I've run into. And I haven't encountered a problem yet that hasn't been solved by one of the resources that are out there published. So.
I love it. This is fantastic, Matt. Thank you for your valuable time today and walking us through Power BI. It certainly is a powerful tool. And I take encouragement with this last step too, Matt, because as you said, you came from a different company where you weren't using Power BI. And you went through the learning process just like you're recommending for us. So, hey, folks, you can be the guru on your team as well. So, Matt, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for chilling with Millen.
Loved it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, man. I'll see you.
Cheers.